taking office, I directed Leon Panetta, the director of the CIA, to make the killing or capture of bin Laden the top priority of our war against al-Qaeda, even as we continued our broader efforts to disrupt, dismantle, and defeat his network. Then, last August, after years of painstaking work by our intelligence community, I was briefed on a possible lead to bin Laden. It was far from certain, and it took many months to run this thread to ground. I met repeatedly with my national security team as we developed more information about the possibility that we had located bin Laden hiding within a compound deep inside Pakistan. And finally, last week, I determined that we had enough intelligence to take action and authorized an operation to get Osama bin Laden and bring him to justice. Today, at my direction, the United States launched a targeted operation against that compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. A small team of Americans carried out the operation with extraordinary courage and capability. No Americans were harmed. They took care to avoid civilian casualties. After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden and took custody of his body. For over 2 decades, bin Laden has been al-Qaeda's leader and symbol, and has continued to plot attacks against our country and our friends and allies. The death of bin Laden marks the most significant achievement to date in our nation's effort to defeat al-Qaeda. Yet his death does not mark the end of our effort. There's no doubt that al-Qaeda will continue to pursue attacks against us. We must, and we will, remain vigilant at home and abroad.
This day has finally come. Wolf? Jason Carroll at Ground Zero for us in New York City. Thank you. We'll check back with you. I want to hear more reaction from the folks, the New Yorkers who have come to Ground Zero. We'll get reaction from those students and others who are outside the White House chanting. They're celebrating. Chris Lawrence is our Pentagon correspondent. Chris, you're getting more details of this operation that went ahead and successfully eliminated bin Laden.
That's right, Wolf. The president obviously gave some detail. We want to sort of fill in the blanks and give our viewers a better sense of exactly what happened. After all the speculation that Osama bin Laden for years, may have been hiding out in the wilderness area, in the mountainous area between Afghanistan and Pakistan, this all comes down to basically what is a suburb of the capital of Pakistan, Islamabad. The area,
U.S. military officer going out there as well. They've just jam-packed Pennsylvania Avenue outside of the White House. They brought the American flags. They're screaming. They're celebrating. Bin Laden is dead. Now take a look at this picture. This is Ground Zero. We'll go to New York. Show our viewers live pictures of Ground Zero in New York City at the same time. And you'll see what's happening there. A reporter is reporting from Ground Zero. This is live pictures coming in right now. It's packed at Ground Zero, and this is video that's been coming in from GeoTV in Pakistan. You saw that mansion in Abbottabad, 60 miles, 100 kilometers outside of Islamabad, the Pakistani capital. You saw that mansion on fire. That's where the firefight took place. That's where the U.S. Special Operations Forces went in with the cooperation of the government of Pakistan, and they went in and killed bin Laden. I think we've reconnected with Congressman Peter King. He's the chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, Republican of New York. Congressman King, did you think this day would ever come?
That we would take action within Pakistan if we knew where bin Laden was. That is what we've done. But it's important to note that our counterterrorism cooperation with Pakistan helped lead us to bin Laden and the compound where he was hiding. Indeed, bin Laden had declared war against Pakistan as well and ordered attacks against the Pakistani people. Tonight, I called President Zardari, and my team has also spoken with their Pakistani counterparts. They agree that this is a good and historic day for both of our nations. And going forward, it is essential that Pakistan continue to join us in the fight against al-Qaeda and its affiliates. The American people did not choose this fight. It came to our shores and started with the senseless slaughter of our citizens.
Gone wrong, Wolf. And imagine how the president would have looked and felt then. This mission could have failed. Bin Laden could have escaped. Americans could have been injured or killed. Or bin Laden could have not been there. The intelligence could have been faulty. We've seen instances of that. And so it takes a tremendous amount of courage and confidence on the president's part to look at the intelligence, listen to his advisors, like Leon Panetta at the CIA, like Bob Gates. This is a big moment for Secretary Bob Gates, who's preparing to leave the Defense Department. It's a big moment for General David Petraeus, who's getting ready to leave Afghanistan to be nominated as the next CIA director, who would have commanded these troops. And so the president would have had to get the advice of all these advisors, and then ultimately it was his decision, his responsibility to decide whether or not it was worth taking the risk to go in there and do this very difficult operation.
Yeah, because you can imagine if this mission would have failed, the outcry that would have happened, the impact on U.S.-Pakistani relations, it would have sent a message of failure for the United States, which is exactly what the U.S. doesn't need during a very dangerous time like this unfolding in the Middle East, in South Asia, in North Africa. Right now, so much at stake.
What they faced was a compound that was about what's been described 8 times larger than any of the buildings around it. It was a 3-story structure with what's been termed extraordinary security. Some of the walls were between 12 and 18 feet. And again, the small U.S. assault team, which included some U.S. Special Forces, made this assault in its entirety about 40 minutes. An official says that Osama bin Laden did resist, and he was killed during that resistance. In other words, after so much talk of perhaps drone strikes and missile strikes, it came down to an actual firefight on the ground in this suburb of Islamabad. We're told that 3 men were also killed in addition to Osama bin Laden, and a woman was killed, U.S. officials say, because she was being used by the people inside as a human shield. Something happened to one of the helicopters that was used to land this assault team into the compound or near the compound. We don't know it right now if it was a mechanical failure, but we do know that the U.S. team destroyed that helicopter on their way out. No U.S. personnel hurt in that operation there.